Bulley documentary tomorrow night. So we're going to have a look at the trailer and what the Daily Mail's got to say about it. It's a very, the more I think about it, I think it's very strange that they're putting this documentary on. Is it just, all the things that they always complain about YouTubers doing and TikTok sleuths, doing things for clicks and this, that, and the other. And I get stick from all sorts of people about. I get stick if I don't do Nicola Bulley videos, and I get stick if I do. So I've just decided I'm just going to do them whether, when I've got something to say like this about this documentary, I'll do them. And when I haven't got anything to say, I won't do them. But yeah, it's interesting this about the Channel 4 documentary. And of course, the Daily Mirror released that video we watched the other day. The Daily Mail's talking about this documentary. So all these mainstream medias who moan about social media, they're all talking about it still, talking about Nicola still, so where's their respect for the family? This is what people say, respect the family and the girls. But the thing is, to me, it's like, it is respecting the family and the girls to be still concerned about what might have happened to Nicola, to still not be happy about what might have happened to her. But anyway, I don't want to go into that. All I want to talk about really tonight is the actual trailer itself. And it's, how can I put it? I found it, the first time I saw it was on a Facebook post, but I found the official Channel 415 one now. I found it a bit chilling. I don't know why, because I don't understand the way they have done this trailer. But anyway, we're going to have a look at it. Let's see. Did I download it? Yeah, let's have a look at it. Now, first of all, I want to tell you why I find it a little bit creepy. I find it creepy because, well, one, because they use sort of an actress in the beginning of it. And I don't know why they did that, because they've got, they also use a false bench, not the actual bench. And I don't know why they've done that either. Also, I don't know who the guy is who's talking about. The whole thing gave me the creeps, to be honest. Absolutely gave me the creeps. So let's have a look.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
A woman who went missing. Her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on? It was the story that gripped.
Yeah, so what's this actress with two blonde hair? Her hair's too blonde for Nicola. And why is she sitting on this bench, which is not the bench? And Nicola did not sit on the bench. She was walking supposedly by the bench, and she never sat on it, as far as we know. So I don't know why. One, I don't know why they've used that very, very blonde-haired woman that's too blonde, doesn't actually look like Nicola. Two, I don't know why she's sitting on a completely different bench, and which, there's no reason to think that she did sit on it. So it just seems a bit weird, but carry on.
The nation.
A woman who went missing. Her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a.
Her phone was on a bench, which again, we don't actually know. Then they show this bit of CCTV, which I've never seen as quick as this. I don't know, like it looks different to what I've seen before.
Theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by?
Who is this guy? Does anybody know who this man is? Because, of course, the last documentary on Channel 5 was Dan Walker, wasn't it, when he interviewed Paul? And this documentary is supposed to have got in it some unseen footage from then. So who is this guy? Does anybody know who this guy is? Anyway, I don't know who he is yet.
Someone.
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
And was that actually Sally Riley, or is that another actress? That actually looks like it might be the real Sally Riley. And why have they chosen her? There was a few press conferences. So why? Anyway, all very odd.
Many unanswered questions 1 year on.
Got, now, not much mention of Peter Folding in the trailer. Though I think there was a... Well, we're going to watch it again anyway in a minute. Are they going to mention Peter Folding? That'd be interesting. Because, of course, in the last one, Peter Folding was on it. We watched it the other night, didn't we? Peter Folding was on it. Mark Williams, Thomas, what a twonk he is. So are they going to be on it again? You know, so it's intriguing, isn't it? Watch it one more time. It's on a few times.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
The woman who went missing, her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
Yeah, is that Peter Folding there? That very quick. It shows a little bit. I don't know if that's him in that helicopter or that's the police helicopter.
Questions 1 year on.
God, there's just a fleeting glimpse of the dinghy.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
The woman who went missing, her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
I'll tell you something, when I first saw it, I don't know why, it just chilled me.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
The woman who went missing, her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
So why are there still so many unanswered questions? And is this... I'm going to just play that once more from the beginning so that you can just see it one more time. Not only why are there so many unanswered questions, but is this documentary going to answer any of them? I don't personally think so. But it'd be interesting to see unseen footage, apparently, of Paul's interview. And has he given permission for that? He must have done, surely. Or as it was recorded, you know, if he gave permission for the... I don't know. I think some of you know, but with my Spanish classes, I have been on bargain hunting Brits in the sun. And you have to sign so many things. That was Channel 5, actually, when I think about it. You have to sign so many things, which I presume are like, you know, saying that they can use your... And it's really quite sort of scary because you don't know what they're going to put in, leave out, etc. You have no idea. So they were here a whole day for probably only about 15 minutes on the actual program. So you don't know what's going to end up on the cutting room floor, so to speak, and what's going to be actually included in the program. You don't know if you're going to look like a right tit. You know, you don't know if you know, are you going to look like... how are you going to look, you know, because you can't even see. At least when I'm on YouTube, I can see like what I look like or whatever. You can't see what you look like. And I remember when they came here, they spent a day here. It was boiling hot in the middle of summer, of course. It was like 40 degrees or more. So, you know, there was like, my hair was plastered to my head. It was like, I just remember feeling like a dish rag, washed out dish rag. Like it was so hot and so just thinking, oh God, this is just going to be awful. And I've never quite managed to see the actual full program or the full, I've seen some of it. I must look for it better, to be honest. I've been sort of scared to look for it. I know it's been on because people have told me about it. And also, I did pick up some students from it and some subscribers on my Spanish channel. You know, I got messages from people saying, oh, we saw you on Bargain Hunting Brits in the Sun and Bargain Loving Brits in the Sun, etc. So I know it was on at some point, but I didn't really want to look for it too hard because I didn't want to see what I looked like, to be honest. So what I'm saying is, let it be. One thing that definitely will be interesting tomorrow is to see which bits from that interview were edited, because it was heavily edited, that interview with Paul. So it'd be interesting to see which bits were edited out.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
A woman who went missing. Her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on? It was the story that...
Sorry, I just want to say hi, Kelly. Hi, Catherine, because I don't think I've said hello to you yet.
Gripped the nation.
A woman who went missing. Her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on? It was...
I think it's the music that's quite creepy as well, isn't it? The music's quite creepy. But what is this hair? Nicola's hair wasn't bleach blonde like that. Come on. Well, you know, what was... They could have showed some proper photos of her. You know, there's enough photos of Nicola, lovely photos. Why did they have to do this? I don't like this. It literally gave me the creeps. Literally did. And the bench being so brand new, like it just come from Leroy Merlin. I don't know if you have that in the UK, or B&Q, didn't it? It looks like just come out of B&Q. Just so wrong. Very odd. I didn't like that at all. I don't know. So they could have shown the real bench, and they could have shown the real. Oh, all right, they haven't got a photo of Nicola walking towards the river, but they've got plenty of photos of Nicola.
The story that gripped the nation.
A woman who went missing. Her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
And yes, another thing I'd like to know is this. I should sit down tonight later and write down all the unanswered questions that God, I'd be here all night trying to write all the unanswered questions down. Where's the bobble hat? Was there a bobble hat? Some people say she was wearing a bobble hat. Some people say she wasn't wearing a bobble hat. She wasn't wearing one in the CCTV, was she? But it seems like on every other picture she is wearing a bobble hat. So strange, you know. So, well, just everything's strange, isn't it? But yeah.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
A woman who went missing. Her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
That's very nice of you to say, Ocean, that you need me on mainstream media. The problem with me with mainstream media is I would find it difficult to toe a line. Like, so if you had a question that you wanted to ask, I would want to ask it. I'm not very good at filtering. I would ask it in a nice way, but yeah, I think mainstream media, especially nowadays, maybe years ago when we had proper media, that we didn't appreciate then, but we realise now how shite it is now and how good it was then. You know, when you had proper investigative journalists who weren't frightened of asking a difficult question. And there's a few of them now. You know, I like Victoria Derbyshire. She's good. I'm trying to think who I like on ITV. I don't know about ITV. I like the guy who's on Sky News on a Sunday, Trevor. He's good with the politics. You know, there's a few that are quite good, and you know, there's a way of asking a difficult question. Kay Burley's good in my eyes. I think she's good. there's a way of asking a difficult question still being nice, and there's a way of tripping people up without actually being nasty. Do you know what I mean? And Kay Burley's quite good at that, I think.
It was the story that gripped the nation.
The woman who went missing, her phone was on a bench.
Everyone had a theory.
Has she gone of her own choice? Has she been taken by someone?
But why are there still so many unanswered questions 1 year on?
Yeah, I think I do know a lot about this case. I mean, I don't like to get caught up in the things that some people get caught up in that to me don't matter. Not that don't matter, but that aren't, because the timelines, for example, the timelines are different, whatever anyone says. So you're never going to get a proper, when you're dealing with people, witnesses that are human beings, you're never going to get a proper timeline, I don't think, an exact timeline. They've got the electronic data like from the phone, like Fitbit just seems, whatever. But yeah, there are some things, but if you focus on the actual, well, there is no evidence. That's the thing to focus on here. We have no evidence of anything, and if you're being logical about it, the fact is just as clear as day as far as I'm concerned, that it should not have been an accidental death verdict. But I can see why, obviously, the family would push for that rather than the yes verdict. But it should probably have been an open verdict. But anyway, never mind. Sorry, the dog's just drank a load of water. Laurie, I have read the Substack, Chris. I am in contact with Chris, so, and I have read it. And we have some things we agree on, some things we don't agree on, but there's more to come from Chris. Let's put it that way. I know there's more to come from Chris, and I have read it. I look forward to the audio, though. I prefer the audio, and there's always more to the audio, isn't there? So. But yeah, I try not to comment. I don't like getting involved in drama, because if I start saying something about this, that, or the other, someone else will jump on me and say, from some other channel or whatever, and say, "Oh, why are you agreeing with that?" I am an independent person. I read everything. I watch. Well, I don't actually watch many YouTube, to be honest. But people tell me about things. I do watch a lot of YouTube, but not. Anyway, see this, I'm getting time myself in not getting myself in trouble about this. But one thing I do read and I do listen to, especially because I like the audio, and I am actually in contact with Chris. So rest assured I am. Oh, right, let me just finish this off and then we'll go to something else. Oh, is that the end of it? Okay, so that's the end of the actual trailer. So what can we glean from that? Absolutely nothing, except it's bloody creepy. So what I'm going to look at now is what the Daily Mail had to say about it. Right, let's see again. Oh, hang on. Yeah, this. So all these, again, mainstream media, whinging about social media, talking about, but talking about it themselves. So it's on the Daily Mail. Every middle-aged woman in the country was astonished. Journalists criticised Lancashire police for revealing Nicola Bulley's menopause and alcohol struggles as the documentary marks 1 year since the tragedy. So I think these articles are always interesting to see their take on it. So detectives and journalists slammed Lancashire police for its controversial statement revealing that Nicola Bulley had suffered with some significant issues with alcohol, which were brought on by her ongoing struggles with menopause, in a new documentary about the tragic case 1 year after she initially disappeared. Nicola Bulley, The Disappearance That Gripped Britain, which is airing on Channel 5 on February the 2nd at 9 p.m. Now, it makes you wonder why the Daily Mail would want to, why is the Daily Mail advertising this documentary on Channel 5? Anyway, apparently they spoke to crime experts who admitted they were baffled by the move. Now, Palm Sandu, I've got a lot of respect for her. She was on the initial documentary, wasn't she, with Dan Walker, and she was the voice of reason amongst Peter Falding, who was saying she categorically wasn't in the river, and Mark Williams Thomas, who was telling the police what they should be doing. And she came across as more of a calm voice, former detective at the Met, and she remarked she'd never come across a case where a woman's menopausal state has been mentioned or discussed as part of an investigation. And it's true, it never has. It was very odd that they came out with that, and also very misogynistic, because if it would have been a guy, who like guys that have gone missing, and if they came on and said, oh, well, he was taking Viagra because he couldn't get it up, or, he did have prostate cancer, or he did have this, or he did have that, and made comments about his male problems. I think, it just wouldn't happen, would it? Nobody's going to come on and say, oh, yes, Mr., Fred Bloggs, Mr. Bloggs, he's gone missing, but, he had recently bought a load of Viagra online, because he was having problems with erectile dysfunction. You would not say that. So it was horrible what they said about Nicola. It really, really was horrible. It didn't further the investigation. And bearing in mind, again, Nicola, this is what I always come back to. Nicola was not known to be deceased then. She was missing. So that tells me they were just convinced right from the beginning she was deceased. They never, because otherwise to talk about her problems so openly over the media like that, if she hadn't topped herself then, once she saw that, she would have topped herself, because, the thought of having all your personal problems exposed would just about finish you off, wouldn't it, really? Exposed all over the world. So it's a very strange thing that they did, because she was still missing. They could have just said, like she says, it would have been fine just to have said she had medical issues. And there's more to this, definitely. They say that someone was going to sell their story to the newspaper. Who was that? I don't know, but that's why the police say that they did it. Anyway, we all took a gasp. Well, I certainly did. It was, again, one of those many times during this case where you've had to take a gasp, because it's just, what? Anyway, reporters, many of whom were covering the case, also told the programme how astonished they were. And Nicola Adam, the editor of the Lancashire Post, said, I think me and every other middle-aged woman in the country were thinking, why would you possibly release that information? There was some logic behind it, that they were protecting Nicola's partner. They wanted to shore up their theory that Nicola was probably in the river. Radio host Nick Ferrari, so he's from LBC, isn't he, also revealed how the statement annoyed people calling into his LBC show the most back then. At the time, the force defended the unusual step by saying it had needed to give more detail to avoid any further speculation or misinterpretation. However, MPs from all parties slated the move, describing it as deeply troubling and accusing police of victim blaming. So it's talking about this documentary in the past. So they must have seen the documentary then. So I presume we can think that this is what's going to be included in the documentary. The documentary also questioned why Lancashire police did not privately inform the media on Nicola's mental health struggles from day one of her disappearance. A briefing on February the 15th explained that Nicola was immediately classified as high risk when she was reported missing due to her vulnerabilities. Now remember though, if she was immediately classed, but in Paul's interview, in any interview the police did up to then, they never said that. In fact, Sally Riley specifically said she did not have any issues when she was asked. God, is Mark Williams Thomas going to be on this programme? They deemed that there was something that was going to cause her to take her own life or impact on other people. And that's why it got classified as a high risk. Detective and journalist, in my eyes, is not either of those things. Mark Williams Thomas explained in the programme, which is why the police presence response on day one was so big. So maybe he is going to be in this next programme. Here's poor Peter. Of course, this is Peter Lawson, who unfortunately is not with us anymore. Rebecca looking really, really pissed off, which she was pissed off because, as we know now, she didn't want to do this press conference. It was supposed to be Pauline Stables, and it just shows in her face, doesn't it? So at the time, the police defended the unusual step by saying it had needed to give more detail to avoid any further speculation or misinterpretation. And the documentary also questioned why Lancashire police didn't privately brief the media. Oh, I mean, they do, you know, some of these photos, they do look very happy together, don't they? So the report revealed that Nicola's family, see, who do we mean by Nicola's family, had asked for the reference to menopause to be made public after officers advised them it was a necessary step to clamp down on misinformed speculation. If they had only said to Paul, we are going to let media know this is a high-risk missing person. If we ask questions, it's in relation to her mental health. That would have stopped everything. Is this Mark William Thomas again? The media certainly wouldn't have respected that and gone, oh, okay, there's obviously some issues there. It wasn't a story. So it's him slagging off the police. He's always slagging off the police, you know, which I know the police irritate us, especially in this case, because we feel that they weren't very good. But, you know, shut up, Mark, shut up. You know, when he was a policeman, he wouldn't have liked it if everybody was slagging him off all the time. So they failed to be very clear from the outset, according to Mark, and they allowed incorrect narratives to remain. The story took on its own life. Oh, God. He just thinks he's so fantastic. Anyway, meanwhile, Holly Bone, so she was at the Mirror, added that journalists could have been briefed on Nicola's mental health off the record from the get-go. It would have completely changed how the media dealt with the story, she said. It made more sense why they were worried why Nicola had gone into the river. If somebody is struggling with their mental health, then you know things can happen. It would have made, I think that's why it's true. Everyone was just shocked why they were so convinced she'd gone in the river, because it was like, why would you even think that? But of course, the reason was because they knew a bit more. Peter Lane, the North of England correspondent at Channel 5 News, also stressed that people were early on asked if there was anything going on in Nicola's life which might explain her disappearance, but press were told that the force dubbed it not relevant. Channel 5 said Lancashire police declined to take part in the documentary. So they didn't take part in the original documentary, and they declined. I presume they're talking about this documentary now. But in a statement to the outlet said, Nicky's family remained at the heart of everything we did. The team was sadly proven right when Nicky was found. The College of Policing review highlighted the high quality of the investigation, as well as areas of learning which we are already implementing. Okay, so then it goes on to talk a little bit about the College of Policing review, which found the force displayed insufficient focus and errors of judgment, blah, blah, blah. It goes on again. It's sort of repeating, really. And the report revealed that Nicola's family had asked for the reference to menopause to be made public after officers advised them that it was a necessary step to clamp down on misinformed speculation. However, it concludes that the shock revelation made as the baffling case made global headlines and sparked a string of conspiracy theories was avoidable and unnecessary. And then, of course, they criticise him for failing to cordon off the area, failure to declare a critical incident. Caroline Noakes, they've spelt that wrong, it's Noakes with an A, I think. A senior Tory MP who chairs the Women and Equalities Committee accused the force of victim blaming and shaming and said it's such terrible double standards and driven by ingrained culture it has to change. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the timeline and everything because we've been through that many, many times. Now, I just want to have a look at the comments because it was funny. I started to look at the comments, and reading these comments reminded me of the comments I get on my channel. You get a mixture of like people moaning like Crispy, give it a rest, will you? Blame the neighbour who was selling the story. The family gave permission and a lot more could have been revealed. Then you get someone like, not quite like Mr. Angry, like Crispy, very sad. Also sad that the male police officer in this photo also died last year. And then, but Sam said, well, Nicola Adam, I can assure you that not every middle-aged woman thought it was a bad idea to make the information public. You and the other journalists almost sound like menopause is something to be ashamed of. Is that what you think? And then JB said, should not be making documentaries about things like this. Someone somewhere will be making money from this. Then Rachel said, I'm 49 and perimenopausal, but more mental than physical symptoms so far. She talks about her experience and finishes off by saying, I'm sure they had the family's permission for the wording they put out. And nobody says, let this poor lady rest in peace. You know, when sometimes people say that on my channel, I think, what makes you think she's resting in peace? You know, is it not a good thing to try and find out what actually happened to her? You know, because there's so many doubts. You know, if it was straightforward, nobody would be talking about it anymore. But what, you know, they say rest in peace, but maybe she's not resting in peace because maybe she's not happy that the truth isn't out there. So nobody knows really. Well, nobody knows. And then Don't Know Enough says, when Nicola's body took so long to find, the information was important to put out in case it could have indicated where she might have gone to. Nothing shameful about that information. So that was their opinion. Tory destruction. Blue wall crushed. I think we can guess this is going to be anti-Tory. Now there's a documentary. It wasn't me, honest. Now there's a documentary about it. The Tories will pretend they want to do something about it. They're alluding to the post office scandal. Jeff says, why are TV companies allowed to rake up claims from a year ago when all the world turned up in St. Michael's to hinder the search? Clueless experts claiming all sorts of things in this paper. Yeah, I won't go through all of them, but you can see, so there's a mixture of comments. And if you know, obviously you can go on the Mail. If you want to read all the comments, you could go on the Daily Mail article and look at them. So, well, we will find out. We will find out tomorrow night if we will find out tomorrow night if it's even worth watching. But of course, we're all going to watch it. We're all going to watch it, because how can we not watch it? Because it's about Nicola. So, you know, I suppose we're all thinking, well, there might be something comes out of it, but I doubt it very much, to be honest. I don't think there'll be anything new. Maybe just interesting to see Paul maybe saying some other things, but I don't think there'll really be anything new, to be honest.